You're watching SPFX. My name is Todd Palomar. Maya is a software package that allows you to create 3D computer-generated imagery. It is a very robust and large software package that takes months to learn and years to master. But don't let that intimidate you. We're going to get up and running very quickly. And soon, every week, you're going to have a new discovery, and it's going to be very cool. Now, when we first open Maya here, you can see that we're presented with a viewport. This is this large area that we have right here. In the center of our viewport, we have our grid. This grid allows us to get our bearings. Basically, we're sitting here in infinite 3D space. Now, it's pretty easy to get lost here. With this grid, we can always reference where 0 in our world is. And you can see how we have these black lines that cross. Right in the center is where 0 is. Now, we also have a coordinate system to help us locate objects as well as to get our bearings. This coordinate system is located in the lower left corner of our viewport. And it is the XYZ coordinate system that we have there. And each of those are color-coded so that we can also identify them more quickly. So X is red, Y is green, and Z is blue. Our coordinate space is essentially just a numbering system. Again, it helps us find out where objects are located. So, for instance, if I wanted to position an object 1 unit in the X and 5 units in the Z, we could come out to our grid here and actually see where that would be. So, with this grid, we have a square. That's going to be 1 unit, so I'd come over 1 unit in the X, that's going to be in my red direction there, and then 5 units in the Z, or 5 units in the blue, so we just come forward 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So we'd be sitting right there. That would be 1 and 5. It's a typical grid system. But because we're in 3D space, we also have this extra channel, which is the Y. This is our other axis. Our third axis, and that's going to be up. Now, we don't really have a grid essentially here to where we can see, but going in the up direction, or the positive Y, is going to be the Y and our third axis. Now, to navigate inside of Maya, we use the Alt key. So if I press Alt and then the left mouse button, it will allow me to tumble. So now we can really see that, yes, indeed, we are in 3D space, and I can go under my grid, above it, and kind of tumble around it. The middle mouse button and Alt allows us to track. Right? And we can just track that camera around. Then we also have the right mouse button with Alt that allows us to dolly our camera in and out. Now, the perspective view here is not our only view. And let's just move that grid up a little bit, and you can see right down here we have the camera name, perspective, short for perspective there, just persp. Okay, but if we tap the space bar, and I do mean tap, we don't want to hold it, we just want to hit it once, and you'll see then that my interface changes, and now I have 4 views. Here is the perspective view that I was just in, and now I have a top, a front, and a side. Wherever my mouse is, I can right-click to activate that viewport. And when I do, you'll see another bar or a highlight bar come around that particular viewport. So I'll just move over here to the front, and I'll choose the right mouse button, and now it goes active. Now when I tap my space bar again, it'll then take me full screen to that particular camera, and you can see here this is the front camera. We'll tap spacebar again to back out, and I could go up here to my top view, okay, and just tap the spacebar. I did not activate that view. I don't really need to do that. It automatically will get activated because my mouse was over it. And we'll tap again, okay, and I'll come down. This time I did right click, and then I'll tap again. So no real difference there, but the reason why I tell everybody to tap that is because that way the viewport does become active which then opens up for other types of tools. So it's just kind of a good practice to do that, and it's a really good practice to use the right mouse button. Reasoning there is that the left mouse button allows us to select an object. So if I'm in a viewport and I left click to activate it, but I also have an object there, I'll end up selecting that object as well, and I might not want to do that always. So we'll just tap the space bar, and let's go back to our perspective and just tap that again. Now each of those cameras, perspective included, but the front, top, and side, are all physical cameras. They actually exist inside of Maya. We can't see them right now. Even if I were to go here to the side view and just kind of zoom out, we'll never see one of those cameras because they're hidden right now. And that's okay. We don't want them out there clouding up our viewport. But they do exist, and we can actually grab them and move them around. We're going to leave them hidden just so that everything stays nice and clean for us here. You'll also notice that when I'm in a top, front, or side camera, we can no longer tumble with our camera or our view. We can only do that in the perspective. These three cameras here, that top, front, and side, are locked off. So they will only show the specific plane that they're directed at. Okay? Now there's ways that we can unlock those and do basically all the same stuff that we have here with our perspective camera, because they're all the same types of cameras, but we don't want to. It's nice to have what's called an orthographic view so that we can look at our specific assets or objects in a locked view. Okay? And then we can just toggle back to our perspective view here. Now we can also create additional cameras, and we can set those cameras up to be orthographic. We can set them up to be a perspective, or we can add extra features to them so that it mimics more like a real world type camera. Now, in addition to our viewports, and let's just go back full screen there, so I'll just tap the space bar. In addition here, we want to take a look at our menu sets. Now this one's important right now to look at, because if you accidentally hit this, you're going to get lost really quick and not understand what just happened. But this menu here, this drop-down menu, has all of our different menu options. So we have these menus across the top here, and right now these menus are specific for polygon objects. If I choose animation, then you'll see those update, and it brings me the animation menu sets. Okay? And likewise, if I went to dynamics, I'd get all the dynamic tool sets here. We're going to stick just with polygons, so we always want to see up here mesh, or mesh tools, something relating to mesh here. That tells me that I'm in the proper tool set. Okay, take a few minutes to practice getting around inside of Maya. Remember, tap that space bar, right mouse click to activate a viewport, and then Alt with left, middle, and right mouse buttons in order to move that camera around. And make sure that you subscribe and watch our next video.